This is America. Home of the proud, brave, and free, where people are oppressed, where we can no longer be ghosts when we plead that we are. I plead guilty. I am a ghost. What do? They oppress us. They make it illegal. I'm not allowed to flail my arms and woo. That's all I can do. I'm a ghost.
This is The Blunt End. My name is Mark Camel.
I'm Ryan Hughes, and we are with special guest...
Sorry. What's going on,
Okay,
guys?
so this is a show where we're going to talk about things, random things, funny things, and normal things.
And we're going to try to be, well, let's put it easily, rather blunt on this show.
Yeah, it's, very real, very blunt. Now let's get started. Today, we're going to start off with talking about music.
Music it is. So we're going to go from best to worst. Now, we recently discovered an artist called Starset.
Correct. Their first album came out last month, and they released 3 singles. Not all at the same time, but staggered. First single was quite good. And the second single was really good.
I cannot stop this sickness taking over.
And then the third single was like, it was even better. And then the whole album came out, and we were like, it's amazing.
It has begun.
It was
And
amazing.
it never stopped being amazing.
Yeah, so you should definitely check that album out. It's definitely very sharp as opposed to blunt. Now, worst music.
Had fun.
Worst music. We only just came up with this show, so we didn't actually have time to go and find a worst music that was
But I
released.
can guarantee you it is 85% more likely to be Nicki Minaj than any other artist. So
Yeah, we can pretty much fairly assume that it's Nicki Minaj. So whatever she released most recently, that's what we're talking about. So it was bad, right?
it was pretty horrible.
You're dead to me.
That's a little blunt.
That's the point.
That's a little too blunt for the blunt edge.
Okay. So now,
We're gonna do
Ascari,
some news.
yeah, Ascari has some interesting news articles for us.
Apparently, there's this new law for bagpipers. The bagpipers that are made out of ivory have been confiscated. So
Wait. Hey,
Campbell-
hold up.
Campbell-
Hold up.
Okay.
So the bagpipers themselves are made out of ivory?
And they're being confiscated
Yes.
from themselves.
They're being taken.
Okay, let me just get this straight. Let me read the first part of this article here. Bagpipers have expressed their fear over a new law which led 2 U.S. teenagers having their pipes seized by border control.
Man, that is not okay. I would rather not have my pipe seized by border control.
I don't know. I mean, some
Ooh,
people are into that
that
kind of
sounds pretty brutal.
Yeah, let's...
Apparently, Campbell Wester, 17, and Eureka Bean, both 17, both from New Hampshire, had their pipes seized pretty hard while traveling between Canada and the U.S. just 2 days before they were due to fly to Scotland for the World Pipe Band Championships. Wow,
So
that's impressive.
just to be clear, these children are 17 years old. They're bagpipers, and
No, they're not bagpipers. They're bagpiper champions.
and their pipes are being seized.
Their pipes are being seized indeed.
Mr. Webster's pipes, which were previously used by its father in this role,
Oh wow.
as an
Oh,
official
dear.
pipe to the Queen, were confiscated by officials because they're made out of ivory.
Oh dear.
Oh, that's just
That is kind of a shame.
I'll be really blunt. There is a problem with ivory things because hunting elephants is illegal. But
Put picture
you
of that
can't
elephant here.
just take some poor child's pipes away from him. He
I mean,
needs
they
those.
need them, right? We're talking about bagpipe champions. These guys march down your streets in the dead of the morning and play their pipes like you've never heard before. You can't just take them away from them and expect no rebellion.
Yeah, we may be dealing with a full-scale 17-year-old pipe rebellion.
That's right. This is going to be the world's first pipe apocalypse.
A pipe-ellipse,
Has
Not
begun.
if their pipes get seized, my friends.
of course. All right, now let's move on to the second article.
Right, let's leave that up to our special guest. I can't read this with a straight face.
So, according to the Scotsman, a man has been fined for pretending to be a ghost the cemetery.
Okay.
Installer 24.
Alright, hold on a second.
Hold up right there.
A ghost.
So, okay, let me just get this straight. This guy is being fined because he was pretending to be a ghost in a cemetery. You know, if you're gonna pretend to be a ghost,
At
isn't
least
that
do
the
it-
best place to do it?
Or you could do it at least out of the cemetery so you know your dead mother's not upset because somebody's dancing on her grave.
You know, I'm gonna be really blunt with you, Ryan. You know, I recall you one time mentioning that you and your friends dress up as reapers and scare people in Chicago.
That, to be fair, it's the suburbs, so it's not like we've been shot or anything. And we decided that, you know, we had cloaks. What else do you do with a cloak? I mean, they didn't know it was me. We weren't pretending to be ghosts. We were just wearing misleading apparel. So it's not our fault that people ran away from us screaming and apologizing for things that they have done.
But this guy, it says here, he was reported to police who detained him and charged him with using threatening or abusive words or behavior likely to cause distress. Now, don't you think that walking around with a scythe and a cloak at the middle of the night would cause distress?
To be fair, I think that girls wearing miniskirts and walking around flaunting their chest causes distress with more people than people in Reaper cloaks do. I'll be blunt with you, people dress more violently nowadays than I've seen ever.
Scar, what are your thoughts
I'm
on this
23.
matter?
Well, you know, it's pretty. You know, the reaping community has lost a valuable member. He was
So-
keeping reaping alive. You know, he was one of the originals, but he's gone now. Got him.
Alright, it says here, Tim Kokanen, woo, Kokanen, that's a name, prosecuting at Portsmouth Magistrates Court, said, while the football was going on, they were shouting, and the defendant was effectively singing loudly and being disrespectful among the graves. He was throwing himself backwards, waving his arms about and going, woo! I'm assuming he was pretending to be a ghost.
So these people...
Say what?
These people don't even know that this guy was pretending to be a ghost or not?
For all we know, he could be pretending to be a mentally ill goat. We don't
For
know.
all we know,
For
he
all
was
we know.
suffering from a seizure. I mean, we don't know.
You're
For-
right.
Insanity.
For what we think, he could have detained a seizuring man who just so happened to be flailing his arms.
Yeah, that's
in the
just...
cemetery.
I mean, other than the fact that they were playing football, I'm assuming you can't do that too well when you're seizuring.
I think it's considered having a seizure, not seizuring. He did plead guilty though.
That's... I'll be blunt with you. That's pretty brutal, man. You're like, I'm sorry for being a ghost. I don't really think that the court's gonna buy that one. I want you to imagine a court. I want you to imagine a judge sitting there looking at this man. This man's like, I plead guilty, I'm a ghost. And everybody's like, oh shit, he did it, man. I'll be blunt with you, that sounds like the most bullshit case I've ever heard go through a court ever.
The underground ghost pretending scene is, you know, it's been a problem, but it's a shame. Apparently, he will face a 12-week prison sentence if he does this again.
Oh no,
Wow.
hold on here. This article says something a little more brutal than being a ghost. He was also found to be breaching a suspended sentence for assault committed in August 2013. Not only is our suspect here a ghost, he has assaulted someone.
I think that raises him to poltergeist status.
Yeah, this is impressive. This is no mere ghost. This is a demon we are talking about. I'll be blunt with you. I don't think ghosts are allowed in court, especially if they're demons.
Okay, so let's put the supernatural behind us now and talk about movies
All right.
and books. So recently, for summer reading, I was forced to read Divergent, which is another book about teenagers in love in a dystopian society with a female lead character who's rather violent. Does this sound familiar? It probably does, because
wonder-
it sounds exactly like The Hunger Games. It's also a trilogy. Just because The Hunger Games was such a successful trilogy.
Does not mean we can all get off of our lazy asses and make, 14 movies all based off of one book.
They're all extremely similar and
Too similar to be
extremely
liked.
predictable.
Indeed they are.
And then I watched the movie. Well, we both watched
the movie. Was awful. I didn't even have to read the book. I don't even want to read the book. I don't think I want to read it ever. That movie just It's like shitting on a flaming brick and then throwing it at your neighbor's house. It just made me want to, like, cringe in pain. I mean, everything was painfully obvious.
And the worst part about the movie was that a lot of the interesting parts of the book that actually required some time to like explain and experience were cut short in the movie
Shaboom,
because this movie
Because
was I mean, yes, it was too long, but
God.
it also should have been longer. If it had been longer and included more interesting and useful parts, I actually may have been able to sit through the whole thing.
I probably would have as well. You know, I hear that dosing people full of LSD and then watching them dream probably isn't good for them, but apparently it's okay as long as they come out of it in 3 minutes. Or 20 minutes, or, you know, if they make it out of there alive. That movie made all of no % sense.
Yes. Now, I think Ascari has most likely some insight into this
More or less.
predicament.
Well, I have to say, you know, the Hunger Games really showed us how stupid humans are. You know, we go from
Being pretty blunt here.
yeah. I'm turning the blunt button on. You know, we have these two people that are in this really crappy situation, so they whore themselves out. That situation,
That is quite a word.
and this method is being copied. I just can't have that.
I know, I can't have it either. I mean, after what? Another trilogy of this, I'm just gonna be sick and tired of trilogies, man. I mean, I don't think I can handle a single trilogy. I couldn't even handle Transformers. You know, the first movie, that was good. Second movie, okay, now we're getting a little shit here. Third movie, it was just shit hitting a wall, and now they come out with a fourth. Son of a bitch. That needs to stop.
So yeah, I think today we've concluded that A, Starset is awesome.
B, Nicki Minaj sucks.
3,
Alright, from letters to numbers. I'll be blunt with you, that was his fault.
okay, 3, bagpipers are having their pipes seized.
That is not okay.
And
Fair attack.
yeah, and then you know, dressing up as a ghost, it's becoming an epidemic.
It's the Reaper community.
Yep. And then finally, The Hunger Games was good. It was pretty sharp, but these new trilogies, they're pretty blunt, and
And
we can't have that.
we're sick and tired of it.
So thank you everyone. That was the first episode of The Blunt End.